It's such an honor being here today, it truly is. Like John, I remember when Christy and Nicole asked me to speak, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. This has been a couple of years in the making, actually, because for a long time I was so ashamed to tell my story, because I was afraid of what people would think, and it's time. So, I was raised here in Elmira, New York. My father was a self-employed contractor who worked day in and day out every single day. My mom had left her nursing career to homeschool us kids. And I was taught the simple things in life. You serve God, you go to church, you work your ass off, and you're a good person. And to my family's shock, when I came home at 17 years old and told them that I was pregnant, that wasn't part of their ideal plan for my life. I remember making a somewhat silent promise to my husband, him and I together as we were married at 18 years old, that we would not become a statistic. We would do everything that we knew was right to do. So we had quite an impromptu marriage a couple months after I found out that I was pregnant. And he started his college career and was working 2 jobs while I started my career and took care of our son at home. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into years, and we just went through the motions every single day. And it was great. We had somehow eloped into this all-American family. Our friends looked up to us, our family was proud of us, and we had everything that we thought that we wanted. My husband had managed to land a job with New York State, and at this point we had just closed on our first house, and I was like, man, we've made it. Like, this is it. 1 child turned into 2, and we were set for the rest of our lives, going through the motions. And after a few months of health concerns and unanswered issues, I still remember the day that I found that lump in my neck, and we became all too familiar with the word cancer. We'd become professionals at just putting our head down and getting through everything that we needed to get through, so this was not any different. I somehow knew deep inside of me that I was going to be okay, but again, it was just put my head down and get through it. So weeks and months of treatment and chemotherapy. 6 months later, we came out of it, and woohoo! We survived. There was so much of that. There was so much praise and congratulations and support. Some of the people that helped me through that journey were not as much family. I did have family that supported me, but there's people in this very room today that I'm so honored that they're here, that were probably a core 5 people that saw a side of me that nobody else saw. And I'm so honored that you guys are here today. Thank you. You know who you are. Coming out of that, instead of being happy that I had this new chance at life, I was angry. I was so angry. And I couldn't tell anybody that I was angry because that was selfish. After all, I had this opportunity at a new life that not a lot of people had going through something like that. But I was angry inside because despite what Facebook had shown the world, and despite what everybody thought, behind all of those pictures and Facebook posts was a shattered marriage and a broken woman. Somehow through that journey, the journey of these years, we managed to lose each other. I had no idea who I was. I just knew what I was supposed to be, what society had for me to be. I was a wife and a mom and a career woman at a job that I wasn't fulfilled in, truthfully. I remember during that time of desperation, I knew I had to rebuild my life. When you're at the absolute bottom, the only place that you can go is up, right? I remember listening to this quote, and it was something that I clung to because at this time this was the only thing that I had to cling to. Everything that I had known was lost. The quote was, "For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must first come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. For someone who doesn't understand growth, it could look like complete destruction." You see, deep inside of me, I always knew that I wanted more than what I was taught growing up, just something deeper. I wanted to change the legacy of my family. I started to think about the things that I wanted for my life and who I wanted to be. I started to look at my career, I started to look at my relationships, my friendships, my marriage. I knew that I wanted to teach my children that life was far beyond what society had chosen for them, that sometimes the things that appear to destroy and kill you are the very things that inspire and ignite you. I began to read. It was the only way that I could pour into myself and silence the voices and the opinions around me. I still remember reading the book The Secret and actually accepting the fact that I could change my destiny and I could live an intentional life. It began a series of changes for me that were not only relationship changes, they were inward changes, they were career changes. I left my safe job that I truthfully wasn't fulfilled in, and I pursued a career in massage therapy. And I took a year, 7 months to a year, and I just invested in myself. And little did I know these small, intentional decisions that I was making every single day were leading to something so much bigger, something that I had always desired. See, I knew deep down in me that there was a story that I had to tell, but I didn't know what that story was at the time. I began manifesting the life that I wanted. I chose forgiveness for myself and for others instead of bitterness. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I began to fulfill the dreams I had deep inside of me, but most importantly, I chose life. So many of you have stories inside of you. You've experienced pain. Maybe it was abuse. Maybe it was the loss of a loved one. Maybe it was a diagnosis. Maybe somewhere, somebody in your life told you that you weren't enough. But the reality is that you are enough, and you have a story inside of you. And despite how screwed up it is, it's still your story, and it can change lives. Because when you allow the light into those places, you begin to heal. You begin to flourish into the beautiful creation you are meant to be. Life will begin to change around you, and you will see the magic again. The universe will start placing people in your path that need you and the things that only you have to offer this world. By a show of hands, how many people here have been touched by Christy and Nicole? Clarity. Awesome. Go figure, right? I still remember the birth of Clarity. These girls didn't choose to play safe in their life. I still remember talking with Christy's dad as they were talking about starting Clarity and leaving their traditional career choices. That wasn't a safe choice, but deep down they knew that they had something inside of them that they had to offer the world, that they had to offer this community. Can you imagine where we would all be today if they wouldn't have made that decision? If they just would have decided to play small? They didn't allow their gifts and talents to be boxed in. I still remember my first time meeting with Nicole and with Christy. It was absolutely powerful. So every day we have the choice to either play small with our lives or trust that every experience, beautiful or broken, is driving us towards something bigger than ourselves. So I challenge you to break yourself open. Live beyond what society has planned for you. Find the greatness inside of you and the impact that only you can have on this world, because you are enough.